This weekend, we are staying at the newest and perhaps the most luxurious resort in all of Las Vegas. This $3.7 billion resort was 16 years in the making, and when I say huge, I mean it's 67 stories tall. It's the tallest building in all of Nevada, and it's 9 million square feet. Anyway, Fontainebleau is also a foodie paradise. There's 36 different bars and restaurants, and it's Thursday afternoon right now. We don't leave till Sunday morning, so we're gonna try to fit in as many restaurants as we possibly can. Let's eat, baby. We are staying in a mountain view king room, which is pretty spacious. It's got a nice view of the mountains, and it's time for the honorary bed test. Woo! Very soft and squishy. Oh yeah, come with me. We've got this huge mirror, which is like pretty nice. And then look at this freaking size of this tub. And tubs in hotels are never this big. This is literally massive. I mean, I can fit like 2 of me in here pretty comfortably. So, I love a big tub. Fuzzy robes. I hate it when the robe feels like a towel, you know what I mean? Oh, this is luxury, baby. All right, it is night 1 in Vegas, and we had to start at one of the most viral restaurants in all of LA. Mother Wolf is so popular, you have to wake up at 3 a.m. to get a reservation, and even then you might not get one. So we are very lucky because they just opened up their 2nd location ever here in Las Vegas. So let's go eat some authentic Roman food. All right, so I was going to start my night with an espresso martini, but our waiter said to try a carajillo, which is like 10 times better than an espresso martini. And she was not lying. Like, I am obsessed. You guys have to try it. It's kind of like Irish coffee, but better. And Mother Wolf is famous for this house-made focaccia, which is literally so crispy, it almost feels fried, but then inside it's so pillowy and soft and warm. And it's so salty with this amazing buttery rosemary flavor. I would come back just for this bread. We also got the Diavola pizza with the spicy salami and the perfect smoky charred crust. It actually had a nice like crispy bottom too, but it still had that soft chew factor, you know? Really, it was the perfect texture, and the sauce was so sweet. I mean, like so much flavor, and then the spicy meat with the creamy cheese. It was fire. And this was the best rigatoni I've ever had. When I say al dente, I mean it was the perfect texture. It was like delicately firm. It's hard to describe. It was like soft, but it had this amazing bite. And the guanciale was so crispy. It's basically like a fattier bacon that's salt cured, so it's got so much of that savory bacon flavor. And if there's cacio e pepe on the menu, I'm ordering it, especially at a Roman restaurant. Like, come on. Again, perfectly al dente with a nice peppery kick. I'd say it could be a little cheesier, like the more cheese the better, but it was really good. And then they served us this tiramisu in like a chalice, and you just scoop it out yourself. It was a big portion too, and so light and fluffy and soaked in that rich espresso flavor with that chocolatey, cocoa-y aftertaste, and it just melts in your mouth. And yeah, that was Mother Wolf. I mean, I would say at least the focaccia was worth waking up at 3 a.m. to get a reservation if you live in LA, but the rigatoni was also incredible, and the pizza was so good. Yeah, it was all really good. Okay, and back to the hotel for a second, because this pool is insane. They have a 6-acre pool deck with 6 different pool experiences. There's a day club with headliners like Calvin Harris and John Summit. It's got its own gaming area too. Oh, and there's 4 different bars and 2 whole restaurants, of course. And the pools are chilled, which is really nice on a hot Vegas day. And now, my friends, it's time for the bougiest restaurant on the property. Tonight we are heading to Fontainebleau's signature steakhouse, which is named after the CEO's father. And Don's Prime is a haven of mid-century glamour where prime steaks, pre-prohibition cocktails, and premium wines are served. So let's eat. And when I say this place is fancy, I mean he literally brought out the steak like on a platter. You can pick which one you want before you order, and maybe I'm a sucker, but I had to try the $35 caviar martini, okay? It came with caviar stuffed olives, of course, and I mean, like, if you love caviar, it's fun, it's nice and salty, not super worth the price for me. But then I went wild for this bread. It is basically a cross between like monkey bread and phyllo dough. So it's these layers of this crispy pastry with the softest, fluffiest, most buttery bread. It is addictive. Oh, and the pretzel bread was also really warm and salty and just everything that pretzel bread should be. And then for an appetizer, we got the king crab gnocchi, which was like drowning in butter and this kind of tangy creme fraiche that really balanced out the richness. And there was so much crab. Like, they did not skimp. I mean, they better not for $42. I'm not gonna say it was worth the price, but it was fantastic. And they don't just have lobster mac and cheese, y'all. They take the lobster, they mix it up in the creamiest, cheesiest pasta, and then they put it back in the lobster and smother the tail in butter. It's like an experience. The meat is just so soft and rich and a little sweet too. And this might sound kind of insane, but the potato gratin was one of my favorite things on the menu. I mean, like, it's cheesy potatoes, it's hard to mess up, but the cheese got kind of crispy and the potatoes were so rich. Also, the sides are only $18 and the lobster mac and cheese was $98. So I'd say the sides are definitely worth. Chris's favorite was this creamed corn because it was a little spicy and it had these super crunchy little squares of cornbread that were kind of like cornbread croutons, and the honey glazed bacon added this sweet, salty meatiness. It was really flavorful. And we had to get the filet because Chris is a filet girly. The 12 ounce was $105, but it was literally so juicy. And this was the best sear I have ever had on a steak, like the crispiest, most buttery edges. And of course, you gotta have a little glass of red with your meat. I mean, come on. And then for dessert, we tried their signature double chocolate s'mores, which was seriously smoky. Like, the whole restaurant smelled like smoke after we got this. I kind of felt bad, but it honestly like wasn't as chocolatey as I was expecting. I also kind of wanted the marshmallow to be warm. It wasn't bad, but I think I would try something else if I came back next time. And after all the drinks and the steak and the tip, the meal was a casual $466. But hey, it was pretty fab. Like, if you're here for a special occasion or you just want a bunch of money, you know, go crazy. And listen, if you don't have time to sit down for a fancy steak dinner, don't worry, Fontainebleau has you covered. They brought together 7 iconic restaurants from around the US into this like food court buffet hybrid. They've got everything from the Keith Lee approved most viral pizza in Miami to the best burger in LA, according to Vegas Starfish. So my body is ready. Let's eat. I'm gonna be honest with you, this is the best food court I've been to in all of Las Vegas. Like, just the fact that they have a Miami slice. Miami slice rivals New York City pizza. What you have to do is get the pepperoni, and then their signature move is to smother it in this creamy, rich stracciatella, and then this sweet, spicy, hot honey. And the pepperoni is so crispy. And the pizza itself has this perfect crunch. It's actually like really just perfect. And then this taco shop had birria tacos, baby, stuffed full of this juicy adobo beef. It definitely wasn't cheap though, because the consomme was an extra $3, so after tax, one taco was $12. Girl, I was shook, but I mean, it was amazing. The consomme was like so spicy and savory, so much flavor. The Oaxaca cheese was stretchy and rich, and the tortilla was so crispy too. My friend tried the other tacos and he said they were all really good. And then, yeah, I heard this was the best burger in Vegas, and compared to the other restaurants, it was pretty cheap. It was only $13. There's a few different burger options, but this one came with caramelized onion bacon jam and these juicy pickles and these like crispy onion straws and the most buttery burger patty. It was decadent. So much of that melty cheese too. And then they also have a sushi spot. I got the Wagyu bowl with a quail egg yolk and truffle salt. And I mean, yeah, the Wagyu was super tender, really savory. It had a lot of that luscious meat. And then it came with soy sauce for the rice, I think. And then I also heard this spot had the best bagels in Miami. And I got the 18-hour smoked pastrami everything bagel with Swiss cheese and coleslaw and Thousand Island dressing. The pastrami was literally incredible. It was almost bacony and it had this crisp. I definitely wish there was more though. I feel like I saw a picture and it was like loaded with pastrami, but this one just had a little bit. But the bagel had a good chew factor and a little crust. And yeah, if you're coming to the promenade, definitely get the pizza and the burger and the taco. Now we've seen some of Fontainebleau's fanciest dinner options and fast casual bites, but what about a classic Vegas brunch? All I gotta say to that is bonjour, baby, because we are heading to La Fontaine, where an opulent brunch meets extensive champagne pairings and rich French flavors. Yeah, so let's go eat some crepes or something. I had to start out with these souffle pancakes, which are literally the fluffiest pancakes I've ever seen. And they came with this like lemon curd and these sugary berries, and the more syrup, the better, duh. And yeah, they were so freaking soft and warm inside, but then so buttery and crispy on the outside. I mean, it's literally cake, so of course it was delicious. And then Chris ordered the Wagyu cheeseburger smothered in this melty, rich aged cheddar, and it had this like super sharp, tangy sauce. The whole thing really melted in my mouth. Like, it was so soft. The fries were really crispy too. They had this coating of Parmesan, I think, really cheesy and salty. Also, the vibes were immaculate. It had this like Art Deco funky feel, but it was also super classy and modern. It was so cute. Now, while Fontainebleau is obviously a foodie paradise, there is also 8 different unique and very alluring cocktail bars, and there is one woman behind all of the cocktails at Fontainebleau. Her name is Ju-Young King, and she created 300 different drinks. She said that visiting each bar at Fontainebleau is kind of like getting your passport stamped, because there's a uniquely curated cocktail at each location, and the drinks have been incredible. The jazz bar is beautiful. They got a pool table, there's a piano bar, there's a club. Like, there is a lot to do if you like to drink. All right, my friends, it is our last night in Las Vegas. Everyone say "Aw." But don't worry, we're going out with a bang because it's finally time for Asian food. So we're going to Komodo tonight, which is kind of like a Southeast Asian tapas spot. So you order a bunch of different dishes and then you just share them all. And they put on a show. There's a $150 3-day dry aged duck. There's like gold flaked dumplings and interactive desserts, and it looks really cool and I'm really excited. So let's go eat. Yeah, Komodo is like the hottest new Asian restaurant on the strip. There was a DJ playing live and the vibe was super like sultry and cool. And we started out with crispy rice topped with this really creamy lobster and sriracha. The lobster was super rich and yeah, the rice was really crispy, crunchy, although actually this was my first time having crispy rice, which is crazy. So I feel like I need to try a few more before I can say if it was like amazing or not. And of course, we had to get the money bag dumplings topped with gold leaf, which adds zero flavor, but hey, they were pretty and they were filled with pork and shrimp and tobiko, decently soft. Not the best dumplings I've ever had if I'm being honest, but they did the trick. Okay, but the Pikachu drink was so good. It was like a margarita with wasabi and honey, so you get that spicy kick, but it's still really acidic and sweet and honestly really strong too. But the best thing we had was this interactive cheesecake. Our waiter literally came with a hammer to smash the box that it was in, which was like this sugary crispy crust, and then she smothered it in this really smooth miso caramel, and the cheesecake itself was filled with roasted bananas and topped with ice cream. It was so sweet, and then the crunch from the box with that smooth, rich cheesecake and the creamy ice cream, I legitimately ate the whole thing, and it was huge. So yeah, if you come here, you literally have to try this cheesecake. We didn't try the duck because it was $150, but I'm sure that's probably the best thing on the menu. And yeah, that was Komodo. Well, my loves, that was it. That was Fontainebleau. We had a really great time here. The casino is literally gorgeous. It's got these 42-foot high ceilings. It's stunning. You feel like you're in the Great Gatsby or something. The resort is really beautiful. The pool is incredible. The bars are amazing. The food was obviously the standout for me. Honestly, if you can only visit one spot here, I would say go to the promenade because then you can try a bunch of different stuff and it's cheaper, and the pizza was incredible and the taco was so good. That burger, I mean, I don't know if it's the best burger in Vegas, but it was the best burger that I had while I was here, and it was also the cheapest. So final thoughts. There are still some unfinished sections of this hotel. So there's still some shopping areas that need a little flushing out. There's a few like dead spaces, but it's new, so they're still building it out. It's also very north on the strip, so if you want to visit some of the iconic resorts like Bellagio and the Wynn and stuff, you have to Uber there, but it's a pretty cheap, it's a pretty quick Uber, so that's not really an issue for me. Overall, it's a really gorgeous resort and we had a great time. And so yeah, if you're ever in Vegas, you can come to the Fontainebleau or you can go somewhere else. This is not a sponsored video, so it was really fun though. And thank you so much for watching. I love you guys so much. Seriously, thank you so much. I hope you have an amazing day, week, year, because you're all amazing and incredible. And yeah, that's all for today. Mwah!